going on, everybody? So, as some of you know, in the last video, I talked about a Facebook group that we started concerning hours of service. And it's come up that some of it might be, what do you want to call it? I don't know. There's a lot of debate around it. Let's put it that way. There's a lot of debate in it. What's the problem? Hours of service or the ELD mandate? Now, I am challenging somebody to give me a legitimate issue to where ELD is a bigger issue, to where whatever you're saying the problem with the ELD is, okay, whatever the problem is with the ELD, relate that to me to something other than hours of service. You understand what I'm getting at with this? Is give me a reason why the ELD is bad, other, because I'm pretty sure anything that anyone says that, for whatever reason you're going to say the ELD is bad, you can relate that back to the root cause, which is hours of service. Okay? The root cause of majority of the problems with ELD is hours of service. Now, in my mind, in my opinion, the reason that the majority of people are against an ELD is because they want to run illegal. Because they want to do shit unsafe. Because they want to lie. They want to cheat. Well, if the hours of service were reformed, you wouldn't have that problem. If the hours of service were reformed, you wouldn't have the issue with people saying, oh, well, my 14 starts and it doesn't stop. Well, the ELD isn't doing that, okay? The ELD isn't starting your 14 or starting your 70 or interrupting your 10-hour or whatever it is, whatever excuse you come up with. The ELD isn't interrupting that. It's the hours of service. It's the hours of service. The ELD is just the form. It's the form of a device, a form of logging. That's all that is. The ELD isn't the problem. It's the hours of service that the ELD is governed by. Does that make sense? Pretty logical, right? So, why the big debate? ELD versus hours of service, or back and forth? You have to understand, okay? The ELD is not the problem. Hours of service, that 70-hour clock, okay? The 70-hour clock, the 14-hour clock, the stupid 30-minute break. That's the problem with it all. So I want you guys to join the discussion, because everybody has different views. And there might be something out there that some of us aren't thinking of, that we may not have heard of, something we might not know. And that goes for the guys that support hours of service reform. That goes for the guys that are really gunning for the ELD mandate thing. You know, it goes for a lot of different things. You have to remember that the ELD mandate, and here's my thought on the whole thing. The ELD mandate was put into play by the major carriers, because in their mind, now hear me out, the ELD mandate was put into play by the major carriers supporting the ATA, which lobbies on their behalf to Congress, the FMCSA, whatever. My thought is the big companies said, hey, what's a way that we can get rid of some of the little companies, the little guys? At the time, they're paying thousands of dollars a month for every truck to run a satellite Qualcomm, which is very, very expensive. I won't shit you. So at that time, they're thinking, hey, this thing's so expensive, these little mom and pop companies can't afford this stuff. So if we figure out a way to force them to have to purchase one, to get one, they won't be able to do it legally. They can't afford it. They can't run legally, so they'll force them out. In return, more freight, more business for them, right? It's my thought. Partially, that's the thought. Now, a lot of people, and I just saw someone comment, that the ELD protects the drivers. In a way, the ELD does protect the drivers. However, the ELD is just the management system for the hours of service regulations. The hours of service actually hurt the driver. Because what other job, tell me what other job, are you affected on the hours that you can work based off of what you did 7 or 8 days ago? Or even 9 or 10 days ago? Or what job are you affected by what you worked 3 days ago? I don't know of too many. I'm sure that you guys will agree that while the ELD protects the driver from having to violate their logs to appease a company or to run illegal to appease a company, it's the hours of service that is truly the problem. Think about this. There's 24 hours in a day. Imagine if for 14 hours of that day you could do whatever you wanted as far as work is concerned. Whether it's drive, be on duty, whatever. The other 10, you had to be parked. You got to take a break. And then after that 10-hour break, you get that 14 back. You can use that whole 14. Whether you want to drive 11, 12, 13, whatever you want to do. Whatever you can handle. Whatever your body can manage. Imagine that. How simple is that? You can work for 14 hours, but you have to take 10 hours off. Now listen, obviously that's very general, and there should be other options in there, such as an 8-2 split or 5 and 5, or whatever other kind of stuff people could come up with that would benefit. And no one's saying, Angry Gun Owner just commented, I would hate driving 14 hours. No one's saying that you would have to drive 14 hours. I'm just saying that the option would be there. You would have the ability to do something like that if you wanted to. Now listen, everybody's going to say, well, if we do that, the companies are going to try to force us to drive or work 14-hour days. Stop letting them force you. As drivers, you need to understand what your worth is. Understand the value that you possess. Okay? Your CDL license is worth more than most give it credit for. And if you stand up to a company and you tell the company, no, you can't force me to do that, say they fire you. Say you quit. Other drivers should stand up too. And if we all stood up and told these companies, no, you can't force us to do this. I'm not going to be unsafe for you. I'm not going to do all of these different things that you're trying to make me do. I will do my job to the best of my ability in the safest and utmost respectable way that I can. But I won't break the law, and I won't be unsafe and put my life and the life of others at risk. Listen. If you stand up and you tell these companies that you're not going to do it, pretty soon they won't have drivers. And these shitty companies won't be in business. Drivers keep taking the shit end of the deal, and they accept it. Accepting that deal, sitting idly by, is the problem. Now, Joe Harding said that if I chug this, he'd give me all of his GoPro gear, which is a few $100s worth of gear. So, in an attempt to appease Joe Harding, let's see, can you give me maybe, you know, because it is pretty thick. There's a lot of protein in here, Joe. It's muscle milk combined with PB2. Can you give me 30 seconds on the clock to drink the whole thing? 45 seconds? But you guys have to remember, there's value in you. And the moment that you forget that, the moment that you think that you're just a driver, you have lost all of the power that you thought you possessed at one time. You cannot continue to allow people in this industry to push you to do things that are unsafe or unbecoming of yourself. You have to respect yourself enough to say no. Can I get a thumbs up? For crying out loud. Come on, Joe. Can I get like 30 or 45 seconds? If you guys want to be part of the discussion, go to the HOS or me Facebook page and come talk to us on Zello. We've been having a great conversation about it. And anybody that goes over to the HOS or me page, please don't just sit there and read. Don't just sit there and watch. Voice your opinion. Go live on the page. Talk to people. Have a discussion and debate. Don't argue, but debate. You might learn something. Joe Harding, are you going to answer me? 28 seconds. No puking, no drippage. 28 seconds. Okay, so I will start in, I'll start in like 20 seconds. CB's going off. But post. Get involved. Don't just sit there. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Because what's going to happen is something will happen and you're not going to agree with it. And you have no room to bitch because you didn't voice your opinion.
What you got?
I'll text you my address, Joe. You can send it on over. It's empty. I like milk a lot, so it doesn't bother me. I've chugged them before. Alright guys, I'm going to probably go over to the Facebook page and go live over there from the Hours of Service page. I'm downloading Chrome and a couple other programs to the new laptop. And then I'm going to hit the road back again. 24.66 seconds. You said I had 28, so there you go. Alright guys, stay safe. Please, hit like on the video. Leave a comment after it posts. Let's start a discussion. Let's start a debate. Let's find out where the real issues are. Come up with some great ideas. Okay? And let's act on them. Alright guys, stay safe. Keep the shiny side up. See you guys later.